The following is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. It is 2 minutes past 4 o'clock, time for the 4 p.m. 411 here on WLCN 96.3 FM. My name is Loyd Kirby. I'm the marketing manager here. And for the next half hour, we will talk about a few different topics. Our guest will be Tracy Welch, the mayor of Lincoln. He is en route, got held up with some city business. So during that time, I'll invite you to tune in tomorrow to the Viewpoint program. That is at 8 a.m. on Wednesdays. Hostess, Dara Entwistle will have Jay and Donna Gaydosh in. They are with the Toys for Tots campaign based in Lincoln. And there will be no 4 p.m. 411 next week. However, in 2 weeks, we will have Police Chief Joe Meister in the studio answering questions. And as I mentioned, Tracy Welch on his way. 217-648-5510 if you wish to ask a question, make a comment on a policy or an event or whatever it might be of Mayor Welch. I think I hear the door now, so I'll go ahead and take our first break early here, and we'll be back in 2 minutes with Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln. Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com. And we are back on the 4 p.m. 411, 217-648-5510, the number to call if you have questions, comments. Our mayor, Tracy Welch, is here with us. Welcome.
Thank you.
Enjoying your day off?
Yeah. It's always busy.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's funny, take a day off, it seems like you work more harder or get pulled away. It's like after I take time off, I'm always ready to go back to work so I can get some rest. So,
Yeah.
but as we were talking off the air here, a couple upcoming events for the city of Lincoln. Again, not necessarily in your purview per se, but as our mayor, you're informed and know what's going on. So a couple holiday events coming up that you might want to make mention of.
Yeah, so the downtown tree lighting ceremony that I have helped Kathy Williams host, at least help her introduce the event for the last several years, is on November 29th. It's a Friday at 5 p.m. in downtown Lincoln. And so hope everybody can come out. I know that they've got a record number of trees that they're lighting this year on the square. And it should be a really nice introduction. Again, with that event, we're doing the lighting downtown. They'll be starting on getting the Christmas lights set up here soon. And also a nice new addition to Christmas is we're going to have the return of lights down Woodlawn.
Oh, okay.
So we've been working on that for many months. We had to get some new electrical put up, some brackets, some new lights as well. But we're just trying to bring back that Christmas spirit to Lincoln, and so that's a nice addition. And then the other one, in talking about Christmas, is December 5th at 6:30 p.m. is the Christmas parade.
Right.
Yep.
With the theme of Songs of Christmas.
Yes.
So will you be marching and singing for the for your constituents, or?
Well, this year happens to be an election year.
It does.
So I know we're going to have a City of Lincoln entry in the parade, but I will have my own separate entry in that parade. But yes, we'll still all be there and enjoying in the event, and hopefully everybody comes out.
Sure. And once again, that's a 6:30 start. Songs of Christmas is the theme. If you're interested in signing up to participate, that's done through the Chamber of Commerce, the Tourism Bureau. Freudian slip there.
Yep.
I believe they have a Google document out online. It's accessible through their Facebook page for the link for you to fill out all the information. So, so you had a meeting last night, a full council meeting.
It was a quick one.
It was a quick one, like 21 minutes, I think, was the video length. So I did notice there was some discussion in there about, or pertinent to the fact that the mural that we've talked about for a few months here is now fully up and on display, and folks can go down and see it, take their picture in front of it, and appreciate it.
Yeah, that was a project that we started many months ago, and the idea was to put a mural up in the Welcome Park as you're coming in on Kickapoo Street, and we worked with tourism and the city, and through the council's approval, we funded that project, and I appreciate their willingness to fund it. But we now have this beautiful mural up there on the wall, and Scott Lindley is the artist. He's out of Pulaski, and he's done a lot of murals throughout the country. And I think he did a really good job of capturing a lot of the really important aspects of Lincoln and highlighting Lincoln.
Right.
And I think it's going to be a great entry point as we start to see Route 66 travelers come in. Most people don't realize it, but that is one of the corridors into downtown Lincoln and one of the Route 66 paths.
Right.
And so next year I hope the travelers like it, and we're getting ready for the centennial. So,
right. Centennial of Route 66 up and coming.
Yep.
So you ran into, or not you personally, but there was originally it was supposed to go on the wall, mount directly to the wall, but there was some structural issues, I guess, or something that came up.
That's an older building, and so once they started looking at the structural integrity of that building, they decided, when I say they, I mean we had construction guys out there, our code enforcement guy, Wes Woodhull, who's done a lot of construction, and others, and they just looked at the wall and they're like, I don't know if it can support that kind of weight. And so we had to really resort to plan B, which really wasn't planned. And they came up with building a metal frame, and it's galvanized steel, and it looks really nice the way they've got it mounted. I think what we're going to try to do is put some wooden boxes around those legs to make it blend in a little bit more with the wall. But our goal this year was to get the mural up, and then we'll have a ribbon cutting to officially open that up to the community. But a lot of work going on, a lot of people it took to make that happen. And so, yeah, I'm very grateful.
And then any chance, I don't know, put you on the spot here, but any chance more murals pop up elsewhere in the city, or maybe around the downtown area, or is that just sort of the welcome to downtown mural and that's it?
I can say that that's the only one we've talked about right now, but in the past we have had conversations with historic preservation, and I know that they've cataloged all of the murals, and there's some murals that are going to be less expensive to do, and so I think we can get some donors for those. And I think you had brought up the meeting where we were talking about the murals, and you had mentioned lighting to me off the air. So most people have seen that really nice new mural out there at the Beverage Genie, and Alderman Bateman brought this up, and I think it's a good idea is to figure out how we can help light that mural up as well. It is a nice attraction to Lincoln, and we were so very fortunate to have the owner of that business, commission that, and then also the painters come to town because they weren't from Lincoln. They traveled a great distance to paint that. So we need to highlight those things.
Sure, absolutely. Once again, our guest is Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch, 217-648-5510. If you have questions of Mayor Welch, you can also email 4pm411 at WLCNonline.com. We can go ahead and take our second break now. We're a little bit off our usual schedule, but that keeps things interesting, I guess. So we'll go ahead and be back in 2 minutes with Tracy Welch. Once again, I will remind you tomorrow on Viewpoint, Jay Gadosh and Donna Gadosh with the Lincoln Toys for Tots will be Dara Entwistle's guest. That begins at 8 a.m. tomorrow. And then next week there will be no 4 p.m. 411. However, in 2 weeks, we will have Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister on, and he will be talking about various issues that are within his bailiwick. But for now, we've got Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch for another 18 minutes. So give us a call or just listen or email your questions. We'll be back in 2 minutes with Mayor Welch.
Are you sick and tired of the telephone calls, text messages, and ads in the mail for Medicare open enrollment? Medicare open enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th. Changes made during this time will go into effect January 1, 2025. Feel free to call me, local Medicare agent Dara Entwistle, and set an appointment to go over 2025 changes and plans. My office is in downtown Lincoln, or I can meet with you at your home if you like. Again, call me, Dara Entwistle, your local Medicare agent and your friend in health insurance, 217-651-8046.
Hello, Lincoln and Logan County. This is Chris Grau from Grau Chevrolet Buick in Lincoln. When it comes time to choose someone to repair your car, truck, or SUV, don't you think you'd feel more comfortable working with the local people you know and trust? Our team in service, parts, and detail have the tools, training, and knowledge that will get your repairs done quickly, with less downtime, and at the right price. Call the local pros at 217-735-4444 at Grau Chevrolet Buick on North Kickapoo Street in Lincoln.
Hi, Joe Ryan
And
here with
we
Country
are-
Financial.
No, we are not back.
As pensions go by the wayside and your retirement approaches, have you thought about what your retirement income will look like? No, I'm not talking about how much money you have saved. I am talking about a retirement income, a guaranteed paycheck for life. That's right, a paycheck issued to you every month for the rest of your life. Sound interesting? Let's talk. 735 888-4385.
And now we are back on the 4 p.m. 411, excuse me, with Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. We do have a caller here. Let me see if I can get the technology to cooperate. And caller, are you there still?
Yes,
Okay. Do you have a question for Mayor Welch?
yes, I would like to know what the status is up there at the old hospital grounds and all the sidewalks, and then I understand about pavilion, and they're spending money. Who's paying for this, and what is going on up there?
Yeah, so we have been trying to improve that property for a number of years, and we recently had the dog park go up there over the past year. They are laying new sidewalk. Actually, I think much of the sidewalk's already been laid, and that is to serve as a walking path around that property. There is discussion about a pavilion to put on that property, and location is yet to be determined. That will the pavilion itself has not been approved, but design work has been approved for that. And so as it stands right now, the council has approved $32,000 to do design work with that. We do have some of the ARPA funds remaining if they decide to move forward with that project, but the goal is to fund that project through either ARPA or grants and not tap into the general fund for that. We think that we've got some time to work on that, and if we can get grant money to do something like that nice for the community, that's the appropriate way to go.
And what is the deal about this fire that up there at that building? I understand they're going to get some of our taxpayer money on that. Is that true?
Yeah, the 129 South Sangamon Street property. Yeah, right now the priority is to get that building down, because it's a safety hazard for everybody in that area, and unfortunately we did have to approve bids of approximately $210,000 to bring that property down, and that's a lot of money of taxpayer dollars that we have to expend on that. We do have every intention of moving forward and exploring every possible avenue to recoup those funds, and there are discussions taking place, but we don't have a solid plan for that yet, and so I don't have much more to share other than it is a priority for us to make sure that taxpayer dollars are recouped on that, and we'll work hard to make sure that happens.
Well, I appreciate that, because I think that's very important.
Yep.
And also, I'd like to ask you about some new businesses coming to town in Lincoln. Is there any truth to what I've heard around Lincoln?
Can you be a little more specific?
Well, I heard that like Burger King and maybe Taco Bell might be coming.
Yeah,
but
so
there's a big holdup or something.
Yeah, both of those projects had holdups, and they were COVID layovers. And I do know that at least one of those projects has still got some traction on it, and that's all I can share regarding that particular matter. But I do know that they are still working to move forward. There's also other projects that are going on in the community that more details are going to be coming out about. So economic development is still moving forward. We do have people looking at Lincoln, wanting to invest in Lincoln and make substantial investments in the realm of millions of dollars for coming to Lincoln. And so I can say that's a positive for Lincoln, and we will absolutely share all the details when we get them.
Okay, because I was just wondering, did you ever take a look at Mohammed, all the things they're doing up there at Mohammed right now? I mean, that city is really growing out there by the interstate.
Yeah, it really is. I've actually got some friends that live over in that area, so we visit them from time to time, and you're absolutely right. They are doing very well in Mohammed, and we would be lucky to be able to replicate what they got going on.
Yeah, because we got them two interstates, and I think that should be a big help to Lincoln.
Yep. I will also share with you this, though. We got some new neighbors in on my street, a couple houses down. They actually are moving to Lincoln from Mohammed. So,
great.
Yeah, so, and I met another another couple a few weeks ago up at Guest House, young couple traveling through, and they were actually traveling through the Midwest trying to find a location to call home. And I come to understand that they have purchased a house in Lincoln, and so I think that's very promising for our community that we have people traveling from near and far and are wanting to take up residency and raise families here.
Is it because of jobs, or what's the deal?
The family from Mahomet, the way I understand it, they actually will be traveling out of Lincoln, at least one of them, for their job, because they have a job, I believe, in Champaign. But the other family, they were just looking for a new place to call home. And the way they explained it to me, they had a few towns throughout the Midwest they were going to look at, and they came in, they spent a couple nights, and I talked with them for about an hour uptown, and then I followed up later and come to find out that they have purchased a home here. So I think it's really good for Lincoln.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, thank you for the call. Once again, 217-648-5510 if you have questions or comments for Mayor Welch. He's with us until 4:30. A few things came to mind during that call that I'll just ask you about. You mentioned about a path going around or being constructed up there at the 8th Street Park. Can you kind of share what that is? That like for health, fitness, walking trail kind of thing, similar to the hospital? Or
yeah, I think the intention of the 8th Street Park all along was to make it a community fitness area, a place where people could come and gather and do things. And one of the things that it did not have going for it was that it really didn't have a place for people to walk around the property. And we now have a dog park up there. We have a fitness court up there. And so when we were looking at our sidewalk targets, we thought that this might be a good opportunity to put in a walking path. And so they've got an appropriately sized walking path all the way around now.
Okay.
And I think they've done a phenomenal job. And what I think that will do is it'll pave the way for other amenities to be put on that lot. I mean, we did a movie night at least twice up there, and we had what I felt was a pretty good turnout for the first couple times. And so I think we're starting to see that people want to use that lot, and so we need to figure out ways to make that a place where they want to go.
Sure, absolutely. Once again, our guest is Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. He's here until 4:30. Something else that came up during the previous caller mentioned about the possible or the consideration about a pavilion. When you say pavilion, do you mean like I think different people interpret that words differently, like a place with picnic tables that folks can have a family reunion, or is it more like an amphitheater type thing with a stage? And
well, we called it an amphitheater in the beginning, and amphitheater, by using that word, became this big, grand, very expensive project. And we didn't really envision, we envisioned that as a place where people want to come, listen to music, maybe see a play in the park, things of that nature. But we also have to be fiscally responsible, and so we don't envision this huge, elaborate $1 million project. We want a place where people can come out, listen to acoustic music, maybe the local theater, the community theater can put a play on, stuff like that. Movie night in the park was really popular.
Sure.
And so really what we're looking for is something that could resemble an amphitheater, but is affordable and cost-effective for the taxpayers of Lincoln.
Sure. And depending on how it's constructed, of course, an amphitheater, you have to, if you're going to have concerts and plays and things, you might consider sound systems, you might consider lighting systems, and those, those can definitely add up very quickly. Something else that came up during this discussion by the previous caller, I love it when people call in because they give us things to talk about. You mentioned the property there on Sangamon Street, and the fact that it sounds like the city is going to be on the hook for the demolition and whatever happens with that property. This is totally unrelated, and I don't know if you would know this or not, but I know, for example, in Major League Baseball, if a team signs a free agent and they're a star pitcher, they will take out an insurance policy on that pitcher in case there's an arm injury, so that if the pitcher goes down, they can at least recoup part of the contract costs.
Yeah.
Or driving, you've got insurance for uninsured motorists. So if someone hits you and they're not insured, it's not as much out of your pocket.
Yep.
Is there any type thing that the city can have that says, hey, we've got these residents here, they're supposed to have insurance, but if they don't have insurance and we have to come in and demolish or do whatever with the grounds, is there a way that insurance policy could pay out and make the bill that you're footing not quite as big?
Well, ultimately, it's up to the property owner to ensure that their property is insured. Right. This issue has raised a lot of conversations about how we move forward and we protect the interests of the taxpayers in the community. So we don't have, again, I'm not trying to be evasive or vague about it.
Sure.
But we are having conversations and looking into options that we may be able to leverage, because some of these buildings are very old, and they're in bad shape. Some of them are. And we want to make sure that we don't get into the business of having to pay to tear down a bunch of buildings.
Right.
I think we can all say with some certainty that we've been fortunate that we didn't have to put money into the Oasis. That building is still standing there. It is structurally sound, despite what people may believe. I've been up in it and I've seen what they've done up there. Some of these other buildings, maybe not so much, and we're remediating them. But the one thing that's the most important is that we owe it to the taxpayers of Lincoln to make sure that we're providing infrastructure, safety services by police and fire, roads, sewers. And when we have to take money away from those to pay for things like this, it's not fair to the taxpayers.
Sure.
And so we are exploring some options. We are looking into every avenue that we can. But again, as I alluded to the caller, and I've said this in council, right now priority number one is get that building down, because it is a safety hazard.
Right.
We have barricades up around that property, but a barricade will not prevent people from walking through there.
Right.
And we absolutely do not need, nor do we want anybody getting injured by a falling brick or the entire wall, because that last wall that came down, I mean, it all came down at once.
Right. Yeah.
So
but I didn't even know if that was a thing for like I said, uninsured motorist insurance that you can purchase. I didn't know if a city can purchase uninsured tenant or building owner or whatever it might be, if there's that kind of insurance.
Well,
out there.
I mean, you got to be careful when you get into that, because if we start to look into, and we're looking into options, but let's say, for instance, the city were to insure a building that we didn't feel was adequately insured, then what's to stop another building owner from saying, oh, well, I don't need to carry insurance because the city will pick up the insurance for me.
Right.
We want the property owners to be responsible. We'll step in when we have to for public safety, but ideally it's up to the property owner to make sure that their interest is covered.
Sure. Once again, we've got a couple more minutes here. 217-648-5510, the number to call. Talked a little bit about the well, not necessarily economic development, but just sort of Lincoln growing in general, and the folks, the individuals you've spoken with. Any truth to the rumor that the watermelon christening water park is going to come back?
That's the first I've heard of that.
Oh, that's because I just made it up.
Oh,
actually, I've heard, just again, nothing with any sort of traction, but people talking about, we need some sort of a draw or some sort of a destination, something for people to drive to, and a few people have said, well, they talked about that big Abe Lincoln christening the town
with the barrel out by the highway.
Right.
And all that. Yeah. I mean, I remember that from years ago, but I haven't heard that recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do. We need to leverage what we have in this town. We have a lot of good attractions in this town, and believe it or not, they're in all of these Route 66 guides throughout the world, not just the country.
Right.
But there's people that stop in Lincoln. We need to start figuring out a way to get them to stay in Lincoln for a while. We're starting to get some Airbnbs that are going up, and there's new construction going on in some of the older buildings. There's a lot of little things going on,
right.
and I think we're all shooting for the same goal here.
Sure.
business retention and expansion, something that we're working on with Loyd, Andrea Runge with Loyd and others. And so we got a lot of good momentum, and we need to keep going with it.
Yeah, and I think Caller didn't directly say this, but I've had a few people make the comment to me that in terms of economic development, it's great. We've got all these, smaller businesses and things opening up, but when you lose a Lincoln College or a Lincoln Christian University or the bottle factory, having a small it takes a whole lot of small businesses and jobs and positions there to make up for the hundreds that are available at those types of facilities.
It does. And there are still very unfortunate circumstances that we've had to go through. And that's, again, we haven't talked about this for maybe a month or so, but that's why we're fighting so hard for Logan, to keep Logan here, because we've lost Lincoln College and Lincoln Christian University. Now, fortunately, Open Arms took up that property out there.
Right.
Still very optimistic that Lincoln College is going to be able to make something happen with that property. But we need to leverage the assets we have. We need to support the people that are wanting to do good in our community, opening up small businesses. I go to a lot of ribbon cuts, and ribbon cuts to me means that entrepreneurs are taking chances on small business. We need to get out there and support them, because without us supporting them, we won't have those businesses.
Right, absolutely. So it is 4:30, so we'll go ahead and end our conversation here. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you.
Thanks for having me.
Sure thing. In a month or so. Make sure you're working next time on the first Tuesday of the month, so that way your schedule's more in sync. So, but once again, thanks to Mayor Welch for joining us again tomorrow on Viewpoint. Dara Entwistle will be talking with Jay and Donna Gaydosh, with the Toys for Tots. And then in 2 weeks, we will have Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister here. But thanks to Mayor Welch for joining us, and I am Loyd Kirby. Thank you for listening and watching. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.